The U.S. is proposing to reclassify marijuana at the federal level. Cannabis would be reclassified from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 and regulated much less as a result. Joining us on Daybreak this morning is Brent Griffiths. He's the senior politics reporter at Business Insider. Good morning to you, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So let's get into the obvious question here. It's on a lot of people's mind. Just what does this reclassification mean when it comes to legalized recreational use around the country?
Absolutely. So as you kind of hinted to there, it's really important to know this is not automatically federal recreational use. This is more than a couple steps before that. All this really means is that instead of treating marijuana akin to heroin, it's going to be treated more like ketamine and some anabolic steroids. So the biggest differences are really going to be on the margins, even in states that already have recreational legalization. And it's going to help beyond that with making it easier to do some federal research, making it easier for people who are involved in the cannabis industry to access banking, the banking information and the ability to kind of participate greater in the financial system, things like that. But we're still a long way before full legalization.
And Brent, you hit on one of my next questions here, that research portion. How do you think this will affect the scientific research of cannabis?
I would say that you would probably see more of it. I mean, certainly we've seen a lot of interest in the last few years and growing more so in that area. Especially one of the things that you hear about a lot is post-traumatic stress. There's been a lot of efforts on medicinal marijuana to try to help people to try to help veterans and people who are experiencing those sort of conditions. And it's going to make it a lot easier. Part of the struggle right now for states, especially where it's not legal, is the ability to obtain cannabis and be able to obtain a high enough quality of cannabis to do really impactful research on it.
And you also touched on the financials there in your previous answer. What do you think this means for sellers and businesses?
I think it's going to make it slightly easier for them, but they still need more help. Actually, right now, there's a bill pending in the Senate introduced by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. He's tried to pass this now for a little while to make it easier to access the financial system for people in the cannabis industry. Right now, there are still difficulties, even in states that have full legalization, for them to be able to access the full breadth of banking that you would if you were, say, a normal, a typical small business owner like a hardware store or something like that.
And obviously, there are a lot of critics about the reclassification here. What are they saying about this?
I think that they're saying really that President Biden shouldn't be doing this, and they're kind of pointing out that this is an election year. I think that's something you'll hear a lot. I wouldn't say that they're that vocal of critics. I mean, the reality is that politically speaking, it is broadly popular, with somewhat exception for the Republican Party, to move to greater legalization for marijuana. It's just something that continues to hit the status quo of American politics and has hit a lot of resistance over the years. But the polling clearly shows that there's growing support across the country for it.